Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Together with Backyard Musings, broadcasting live, Apple Valley, California.
Science and technology. That's what we do. That's what we talk about.
Got a strange one today. Kind of strange.
Yeah, this is not a real good feel-good story, but
a new study reveals that leprosy existed in America long before the arrival of Europeans, shedding light on the history of a long-neglected pathogen. Long considered disease brought to the Americas by European colonizers, leprosy may actually have a much older history on the American continent. Scientists from the Institut Pasteur, the CNRS, and the University of Colorado, in collaboration with various institutions in America and Europe, revealed that a recently identified second species of bacteria responsible for leprosy, called Mycobacterium lepromatosis, has been infecting humans in the Americas for at least 1,000 years, several centuries before the Europeans arrived. These findings were published in the journal Science on May 29, 2025. Would you like to know more?
I wonder if they were cast over here. They were sent out, just put on a boat, and
the Vikings cast
pushed them out and said, "Good luck to you.
Hope you make it."
Yeah. Leprosy is a neglected disease mainly caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae, affecting thousands of people worldwide.
That's crazy.
It is. Approximately 200,000 new cases of leprosy are reported each year.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's time for a healing, right?
Yeah.
Although M. leprae remains the primary cause, the study focused on another species, Mycobacterium lepromatosis, discovered in the United States in 2008 in a Mexican patient, and later in 2016 in red squirrels in the British Isles.
Red squirrels.
I don't know
either.
Yeah.
We're just the messengers, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Let us know from the UK what these red squirrels are. Maybe they're...
Yeah, Ben. Let's hear from Ben. We haven't heard from you in a long time.
Yeah, maybe they just need to be wiped out, those little red squirrels.
Oh, man.
That would be sad. But if they're carrying this disease, this is a pretty nasty disease.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Led by scientists from the Laboratory of Microbial Paleogenomics at the Institut Pasteur, also associated with the CNRS and the University of Colorado in collaboration with indigenous communities, and over 40 scientists from international institutions, including archaeologists, this study analyzed DNA from nearly 800 samples, including ancient human remains from archaeological excavations and recent clinical cases presenting symptoms of leprosy.
The results confirm that M. lepromatosis was already widespread in North and South America long before European colonization, and provides insights into the current genetic diversity of pathogenic mycobacteria. Quote, "This discovery transforms our understanding of the history of leprosy in America," said Dr. Maria Lopopolo.
That's a weird name.
That is kind of weird. The first author of the study and researcher at the Laboratory of Microbial Paleogenomics at the Institut Pasteur. Again, quote, "It shows that a form of the disease was already endemic among indigenous populations well before the Europeans arrived."
I mean, of course, we know who was here on this continent before Europeans.
Nephites and the
Jaredites,
Mulekites.
Yep. Yeah. The team,
Lamanites, a lot of ites. Anyway.
The team used advanced genetic techniques to reconstruct the genomes of M. lepromatosis from ancient individuals found in Canada and Argentina. Despite the geographic distance of several thousand kilometers, these ancient strains dated from similar periods, approximately 1,000 years ago, were found to be surprisingly genetically close. Although they belong to two distinct branches in the evolutionary tree of the genus Mycobacterium, these branches are genetically closer to each other than to any other known branch. This genetic proximity, combined with their geographical distance, necessarily implies a rapid spread of the pathogen across the continent, likely within just a few centuries. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a plague.
Yeah. The scientists also identified several new lineages, including an ancestral branch that, despite having diverged from the rest of the known species diversity over 9,000 years ago, it continues to infect humans today in North America, a discovery suggesting an ancient and long-lasting diversification on the continent, as well as a largely unexplored diversity that likely remains to be found.
Why can't we get rid of this like polio?
I don't know.
Make it extinct.
I don't know. Yeah. Well,
Man.
it's kind of like the flu, right?
Get a Nobel Peace Prize for that.
They don't have a cure for the flu. It's just like COVID. They're not going to have a cure for it.
The flu doesn't waste away your skin and make you die,
Well, but it's deadly. Kills you.
Notably,
you die of leprosy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, You could die of flu.
It's like what was that? Flesh-eating disease.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Was that?
From water. Miley Cyrus had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Miley, if you're listening, we like you a lot. Thank you for what you do. Notably, the analyses also suggest the strains found in red squirrels in the UK in 2016 are part of an American lineage that was introduced to the British Isles in the 19th century, where it subsequently spread. This discovery highlights the recent ability of the pathogen to cross continents. What do you think it's on a rat? Got on a rat and the rat got on the ship?
Could be.
Likely through human or commercial exchanges.
Quote, we're just beginning to uncover the diversity and global movements of this recently identified pathogen. The study allows us to hypothesize that there might be unknown animal reservoirs, said Nicholas Raskovan, the lead author of the study and head of the Laboratory of Microbial Paleogenomics at the Institut Pasteur. You think that's in France? I bet it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To go on with the quote, the study clearly illustrates how ancient and modern DNA can rewrite the history of a human pathogen and help us better understand the epidemiology of contemporary infectious diseases, unquote.
The project was conducted in close collaboration with indigenous communities, which were involved in decisions regarding the use of ancestral remains and the interpretation of results. Thank goodness we didn't have grave robbers. That would be ghoulish. Ancient DNA and remaining materials were returned when requested. Like they were going to keep them. And the generated data was shared via ethical and adaptable platforms designed to allow data sharing that meets the specific expectations of indigenous communities. This sounds like a disclaimer. Well, I mean, it's interesting that leprosy was here before the Europeans. I guess we can't blame them anymore. Columbus.
Yeah, like what was that segment we were talking about the other day where somebody, they figured that something, that settlement off of India 140,000 years ago.
Yeah, that was in underwater. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
mind-boggling.
Very odd and perplexing about these dates and times and stuff. So, but, that's what they do. They study and they make their assumptions and then back it up with that, I guess. So anyway.
I'd like to comment. We had a comment the other day about those indents off the Big Sur, right?
Oh, the holes. The
holes, yeah. And so remember we had that segment about Kentucky and the caves and how
Mammoth Cave.
Yeah, the water was much lower.
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
So when did these indentations occur? One of our listeners asked that question. Valid question. I mean, if there was no water there, was it a landing craft or something? They landed?
Yeah, or maybe they were excavating something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a lot of holes to be digging, man.
And they were pretty much perfect shape, right? I mean, they weren't.
Valid question.
Like
Put
round.
2 and 2 together on that. You're like, when did this thing occur? Was it before when the water was low enough?
Questions we'll need to ask at the proper time.
Yeah. If you know, let us know. Let our listeners know. So, valid question, good question.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks, folks. We'll talk to you later.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.